Welcome back to Parts Talk with ZachTV here at Redline Equipment, and we're finally going to get to the meat and potatoes of what I discussed on the previous video of going through the filters, the competition versus the C&H filters. I'm pretty excited about this. I spent quite a bit of time, and I'll tell you why here later, getting this ready. So as you can see, we got a Baldwin filter all the way to the C&H filter, and I got prices all the way from the cheapest to most expensive, and unfortunately the C&H is more expensive, but we're going to get to that and you're going to see why, and hopefully that's not going to bother you in the future, because it sure doesn't bother me, and I'd be happy to pay the difference on my tractors. So now we're going to start with the Baldwin. First off, the Baldwin canister is real flimsy. It's almost like a tin can in a way. The media itself, and before I get too far into this, the media on these is all supposed to cover between a range of 12 micron to 30. The C&H is actually the 12. The rest of them, I think they were the 17. So I'm not going to get into real technical stuff, because there's all kinds of other videos and stuff you guys can go through. I want to go through this as a customer going here, why is this better? So touch and feel type of thing. So here we are. This is a paper element. As you can see, there isn't much to it. Cheaply made. The end caps are glued. There is no tie bar between. We're going to go to the spring on the bypass. Really chintzy spring. It's already bent straight out of the package. I mean, it's not even really worth anything. And the bypass valve itself is plastic. I don't know how that even works, because you got a piece of plastic on steel here, and then it goes on this nut plate, and during normal filtering I don't see how a little bit of unfiltered oil can get past that bypass even when it's in the closed position. So once it gets back together, you know, it's about like this. So this filter cost me $8.65, and I want to get back to that a little bit. You can't even go buy Taco Bell for lunch for nearly $8.65, I should say. So, you know, a 5.9 engine, if you're going to buy a reman or a new one, you're talking $15,000 or so. So you're going to trust a $8.65 filter to that? I hope not. I'm not going to, and I doubt any of you would as well. Let's go to the Fram filter. So the Fram actually surprised me a little bit as far as their cellulose media, or the paper style media. The pleats are much, there's way more pleats there are into the Baldwin. Granted, the Baldwins, the pleats are bigger. Yeah, you could probably say that it's equal, but the pleats in here are more narrow, more of them. Again, it doesn't have the tie bar. So it's just glued together, and it's held together with the media itself. The end plate, the centering part with the spring is very questionable. It's there. It's better than the Baldwin. But the thing that really gets me about the Fram is the can is real heavy. And that's a good quality feature, I suppose. And the nut plate is real heavy. It's real heavy duty. But I think what they're trying to do here is make you think that, this filter is heavier, so maybe it's better, right? Wrong. I mean, as you can see, the bypass, you'll like this. That plastic bypass was one thing, but this actually has like black RTV just circled around here at the nut plate, and then they use like a tapered end plate here to seal that off. To me, it might seal off better than the plastic one. However, I can really see this stuff starting to come apart and getting into your oil pump or something, or into the engine or your bearings, because that could get through the clean side. So for that, I really don't like. Along with the spring is a little bit better. I will give you that. The spring is bigger, and it's not all bent up straight out of the box. So that's why Fram came up second to last place. Now let's get to the wicks. Everybody's favorite. Everybody talks about wicks. Sold their Napa dealers, and how Napa Days has all these great deals. They can get a $100 filter for $10. But let's get down to it. Here we are. The wicks filter, you know, it is the second best here, so I'm going to explain why. It's got the steel tie bar on the end plates. Very good. So your media will not have a chance to want to crush as easy with that. It's holding the media out better. So the tie bar is definitely a plus with the wicks filter. The end plates here for the spring on the bypass, excellent. It's got a nice indentation to keep the spring in set. The spring itself, kind of crummy. I'm not really impressed with the spring. It is a little overly hard to compress versus the other ones, but you know, maybe their pressure settings for that's a little bit different. I'm not quite sure. Like I said, we're not going to get too technical, but we're going to look at the materials itself. So the media, you can see it's still cellulose media, paper media, but it's darker. I'm not quite sure. I thought to myself, maybe it's got some kind of fiberglass inlay to it. You know, some of these companies say they do. I got on their websites and looked, and they talk about the fiberglass cellulose media mix. So there's a possibility that's what the wicks is. So that's a plus versus the others, just the micron rating of the filter itself. But going back to the bypass, which is strange about the wicks, is the same as the Baldwins. To me, and probably to you, it's not good. Plastic. And the nut plate, I'll give them that. The nut plate is very heavy. It's nice. But there again, when this goes together, your spring and everything here, I believe that there's still a possibility that unfiltered oil could get past that seal. Possibly not, just my own feelings. But there again, it's just a cellulose filter. Now let's get to the bread and butter, right? The C&H. Here we go. We all been waiting for. So I was cutting this filter open. Like I said earlier, I had my fingers crossed, like, please be better, please. And sure enough, they didn't let me down. Pulled the filter out, and it is a white filter, indicating that it is some kind of synthetic material or a fiberglass material, or a mix of both. I would say it's a mix of both. I don't believe it's the microlock filter that we've had in the past, but as you can see here on this cutaway, there's also some steel mesh behind it, and the filter has multi-layers to it. So the capacity of this filter is probably far more than these filters here that's just a single layer. So that is the other great aspect of this filter. The other thing I like about it is these indentions here on the top cap, or the lower cap. And there again, it's got the metal tie bar just like the wicks. So it's got the tie bar, it's got the far superior media, and it's got these indentions here that go inside the can to help line it up. So, you know, maybe while it's doing its bypass on a cold day, it helps keep this lined up perfectly. So the spring also, very good spring. I mean, this spring right here blows all these away. And the indention fits it perfectly. This filter is just far out superior than these other ones so far, but it gets better. So the seal here for the bypass, all these other ones are either plastic or non-existent. This one actually has a nitrile rubber where it actually fits in here and it actually seals on the nut plate. None of those have it. So this is just the icing on the cake for this filter versus all these other ones. Now, let's get to the Zach test. This is my personal test. It probably has no relevance at all during filter testing. So maybe if some kind of filter engineer watches this video, he's going to think I'm an idiot. But that's fine. This is my deal. This is called the Zach burn test. What I did, I was like, man, this looks like pure cardboard. I wonder if it really is. I wonder if it's got any type of other non-combustible materials. So I just took a lighter to it, and this thing instantly caught on fire and almost burned my hand. It caught on fire so fast. So I'm going to say that this is purely paper or cellulose in the filter world. Same way with the Fram. She burst right into flames just like the other. Not much of a difference. Now we get to the wicks. And we did talk about this for a second, the color difference in it. I believe this has some kind of, fiberglass built into the cellulose, but there again, it burst into flames, but maybe a little slower, but it did kind of stink. So I think they got a little bit of different mixture in their media. It is okay. So back to the old case. Here we go, or the C&H. I lit this baby on fire in a way. Not really, it wouldn't light on fire, but I held the lighter on it till it finally just kind of melted. And here we are. It didn't fall off, it's still in place. So to me, this indicated that this was a synthetic media via, I don't know if it's some kind of fiberglass with some other material, but it stunk, don't get me wrong, but it held together, so I know it's not just paper or white cellulose. It is definitely something different. And the other aspect I'm telling you guys about, just the knowledge of the parts people in general. When you go to the store, they know what they're talking about. I mean, you can't beat that. I just can't express enough about how frustrating it was to get these other filters from somewhere else. So that's my conclusion to this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. I hope the next video is just as fun. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for watching ZachTV.